Hello everybody, it's Sephiroth4 for another weekly update. A few things. First of all, videos this week should be normal, and I say should because I've recorded half of them for the week. I have at least enough videos to go into the first half of the week. So, tonight starts the holiday of Sukkot, where it's going to be the final of the group of holidays of the fall Jewish holiday season. So from Sunday night through Tuesday night is going to be parts of the holiday I'm not going to be here. From Tuesday night through next Sunday night, I'm going to be around, aside from Saturday, of course. And then next Sunday night till next Tuesday night, again, I'm not going to be here. So, because of that, also, I'm not going to be having set streams this week. Next week, next Wednesday, streams should return. But I recorded 2 Final Fantasy X videos, so that would be Monday and Wednesday's video. I have 2 Twilight Princess videos. I have 2 Twilight Princess videos. So that goes until Thursday. So Friday and Saturday's videos are not recorded yet, but I'm hoping that I will have time to. That really depends on any company that comes by during the intermediate days of the holiday or anything like that. But as it is right now, we got stuff. If not, I'll put up Vesperia and Ocarina of Time Randomizer. So that's that. In terms of other things, I have a few things I want to talk about today. First of all, last week was the Breath of Relief charity stream, which was an 8-hour juggernaut of an event. Sorry, my Tums are all sticking to the walls for some reason. It was an 8-hour juggernaut event where Wonderful Ones and I raced Breath of the Wild. If only it was a Twilight Princess race. Breath of the Wild, which he eventually won, and was raising money for him, and we got to our goals, so yay. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It was a fun time, it was a good time, it was, it was a time. It was a good time. I forgot how much fun Breath of the Wild was. Let's see, in addition to that, what else? Well, I'm just going to do the go through Twitter thing because I'm very lazy in writing things down and remembering stuff. A new Twitch emote got approved. One sec, let me find that. So we got a new Twitch emote. Is made by the Smash Tunes, Dalton. It's a hello emote with Mari from Splatoon, so yay. So if you're subscribed to me on Twitch, you get a very cute hello emote. Let's see, what else? What else do we got over here? Last week was the holiday of Yom Kippur, which we will talk about at the end of the video, I think. Indivisible came out. I have it on PlayStation 4. I was one of the backers, and it's really good. I put up a first impressions video that you should check out. I really enjoy it, and I want to play more of it, except I need to actually finish Final Fantasy X. I'm going to have a lot of time once Final Fantasy X finishes, and that time is going to be between the Final Fantasy X finishing and Pokemon coming out, so I really hope stuff happens. I did some art for Proton John's stream on Wednesday, which you can go to my Twitter to see. That involves Dragon's Crown, which is why it's not being showed here. World Mental Health Day was last Thursday. I did a twit longer about it. I'm gonna link that in the video here in case you guys want to read it. It's essentially just talking about a little bit of what I deal with, but mostly the point of how I deal with it, and I don't know, some advice, I guess, from someone who is still alive. Let's see. Misei was doing Super Mario 64 speedrunning, and I submitted a fantastically bad pun, and it killed her run, and it was hilarious. I feel kind of bad, but it played out very well. I put a clip of that on on Twitter. You should check that out. Let's see. Untitled Goose Game is becoming such a meme, and it's amazing. Blizzard has been in a lot of trouble, rightly so, and I'm not going to get into it here. But if you know, you know. If you don't, it's a time. Let's see. I made a friend with a frog. Put a picture of that too. Cool. Alright, and the last other bit of art that I did last week. I promise I'm going to get to the Patreon stuff soon. It's just I had to focus on the high holidays. I couldn't even think about making the pictures. But now that it's just the holiday of Sukkot as opposed to the high holidays, I can start transitioning my mind over. But the last drawing that I did, which I'm actually really proud of, is so this is original character that I made a while ago named Clara. She has like orangey red hair with yellow highlights. So she started off very, very differently. Kind of hair kind of back, antenna going forward, spiky back hair, and it kind of kept changing over a little while. Little bit, hair got a bit longer and less weird looking. The original pictures I can't even look at right now. They look terrible. They're awful. When I envisioned her, but I was playing around with this character creator, and it didn't give me this exact picture. I drew this. This isn't from the character creator, but it's kind of the facial structure and the way that the hair was like, oh my gosh, that's what I wanted. With like the hair going down on both sides, the little braid, just the general face shape. I know it's not like slim, it's kind of a big nose, but that's kind of how I wanted it. The way her eyes are and everything. This is pretty much how I wanted her to look. Her, like I said, her hair used to be slicked back, kind of like mine is in the front over here, but it's a casual look. If she's fighting, she can have the hair back and tied up or something, but not this. I was gonna give her like a red bow, but I was like, that's too much heiress. But I like the shirt and everything, so yeah, I'm very happy with how this came out. I don't draw her as much as I should, and I'm sorry. I know my hair is all poofy, and I'm not fixing it. And yeah, anything else there happen? No. Okay, so that's pretty much how things are going. There's something I just want to talk about, and I'm talking about me here. I feel I need to always preface the fact that I'm talking about me here, because I have had, I don't know, people like to take offense. So I'm talking about me here. So on Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, Jewish people spend 25 hours fasting, spending a significant amount of time in the synagogue, and asking for forgiveness from God for all the stuff that they've done, trying to make a better start for themselves for the coming year. And one of the things that always sticks out to me is that before all the prayers of asking God for forgiveness starts, this is something I talk about also as in the lead up, that we have to ask for forgiveness from the people around us before we ask for forgiveness from God. But another thing in the lead up to the prayers that start on the night of Yom Kippur is a prayer called Tfilat Zaka. which I'm not going to translate for you. It's a prayer of, I don't know, not acceptance. It doesn't matter how to translate that, but there's a part in it, a portion of it that's pretty much the most important part. That's the purpose of which is, before you go and ask for forgiveness, you first let go of everything that you've been holding on to over the past year. Saying, since I know there's hardly a righteous person in this world who never sins, between man and his neighbor, monetarily or physically, and Yom Kippur doesn't atone unless you appease your neighbor. So I cast my supplication before you. It's fancy words, but I essentially, I extend complete forgiveness to everyone who has sinned against me, physically or monetarily, gossiped against me, slandered me, except for, monetarily or whatever, except for people that, actually owe me money that I expect to get back, or people who say I'm going to sin against him and he'll forgive me. Just doing it knowing that you'll forgive him. It's not really, this is talking about people that don't do things on purpose. So, the purpose of this prayer is, before you can approach God and ask for forgiveness, you first need to empty. you got to forgive yourself. Like, you yourself have to start forgiving. You have to drop things, and it's something that I try to internalize every year, because it's really easy to hold grudges. Like, I spoke about this a few weeks ago. Like, you just don't forget things. The human mind is very good at not forgetting things that people do to you, and it's important. It's just something that I think about. I always try. It's important to try to just drop stuff, because otherwise you go into the new year and it's still eating away at you, and it's what changes then? Like, what's the change? And obviously it has to be a two-way street, that people have to drop things against you too, but it's got to start somewhere, It always has to start somewhere. And if you spend your life like waiting for everyone else to forgive you first before you forgive them, you're gonna have a miserable life. You got to be the example, and I say you by me. Again, I say you as a me in the second person. There's one other thing. So over the course of Yom Kippur, and again, if this isn't your cup of tea, you can just turn off the video here. This is all I'm talking about for the rest of the video. We over the course of Yom Kippur, several times, a couple times in the night, like 5 or 6 times during the daytime, 2, 4, 6 times during the day, 2 times at night. Over the course of the prayers, we say something called al-chet, which is a list of things. Al-chet just means like about the sin of which blank. It's a list, of it's just for the sin that we've sinned before you of, either under duress or willingly, or through hardening our heart, or without knowledge, or through deceit, or through wronging a neighbor. Like, it's a whole list of things that we have to. It's not just like, oh, we're sorry. We go through the book. We go through the book of a very large selection of things, and it's supposed to inspire us to remember things that we've done, to actually try to be sorry for the things that we've done. And in the back of the Machzer here, prayer book that we have by Art Scroll, it's a Jewish publishing company, whatever. So it has like expanded stuff, like it has like a whole, like the list, and then like an expanded idea, and like there's just a lot of them that you're like, I really have to think about this more. Speaking harshly against people, expressing ourselves too forcefully and hurting others or provoking them to anger. It's things that you just have to think about. Like, when you think about, like, yeah, this is probably a bad idea, but, like, you really have to think about the things. I don't know. We're too quick to make promises, which is something that I know people get upset at me for sometimes, that I kind of seem wishy-washy, but I don't like making promises and then breaking them. That's just, even like for little things, I don't like making promises and breaking them. I'd rather just not commit to something right away until I'm sure that I can commit to it, because then it just kind of erodes at people's confidence in you, you know? And it also, I mean, if you like say, okay, I'm going to be here, at 5 o'clock, and then you show up at 6 or like 5:30, you're like, I actually can't come. That person was waiting for you, and now their day is like used up. So it's like little things. There's obviously a lot here about immorality that I'm not going to go into, so that we don't have to talk about that, because that's more personal. We have wronged those who trusted us, cheated and hurt our fellow beings. Friends are easy to deceive because they trust us. Not taking repentance seriously is a big thing. Sinning unnecessarily, like essentially putting yourself in a situation where, that you're probably going to do something wrong. And I'm just pointing out the ones that I think apply outside of Judaism. Something that people don't really care about, but vulgar speech. Lack of dignity and self-respect in how we talk. That's just not something people are going to change, though. Talking behind people's backs. Taking advantage of the weak, either physical, economically, politically. Just not being honest. Slandering people, spreading gossip, which is really easy to do on the internet. And, sometimes you just shouldn't engage in a conversation about another person that's not in front of you, I've been really trying to cut down on that, and it's great at making me look like I don't want to get into conversations, but I don't really care. Acting arrogantly, either through, like, body language or just... on the internet, body language doesn't really matter for much, but internet body language is how we talk. Repulsing attempts to improve us, greeting constructive criticism with scorn and ridicule. Something that important there is, like, if someone tries to make a point on how people can improve themselves and you make a joke about it, it now becomes a joke. And no one's going to take it seriously. And it's like, it's a reflex for people to just joke about important stuff. But once you do that, it undermines everything. There's a phrase in Judaism: a single joke can cancel out 100 rebukes. It's something to think about. Sometimes if someone says you did something wrong, you just gotta say, you know what? You're right. I did something wrong and I'm sorry, instead of arguing it out or explaining yourself away or trying to joke about it. Taking advantage of our friends, it puts it another way. Manipulating people, being jealous, which is a thing that is amazingly common on. Resenting people's success. Unwilling to do simple favors for them because it would go unnoticed. A lot of people are like, well, what's in it for me? Maybe that's not always the point, Dovey. Maybe that's not always the point. Unreasonably stubborn. We've become single-minded and so lost our objectivity because we had a strong desire for something. Refused to learn from experience and constructive criticism, and denied that obstacles and failures are a possible way that God wants us to get through our head that we should repent. I know that people are like, well, I don't really believe in God or your God, and these are still lessons you can apply to your life, even if it's not a sign from heaven. Turning people against one another. So this kind of ties into the gossip and slander, but like, it's something that I hate. is not just the fact that I have a problem with somebody, but now I have to make it so that other people have a problem with that person by sharing either personal experiences or painting them in a bad way. And that goes around a lot, and it hurts me because you should let people decide for themselves based on their interactions with the person, you know? Hated people on a personal level instead of disagreeing on issues. Yeah, baseless hatred. This is something I actually talked about in a video a few years ago. We have made the awful mistake of hating people rather than their evil deeds, which is a very big distinction that a lot of people have trouble making, and I have trouble with sometimes. Just saying, okay, so, this person's doing a bad thing, that means they are evil. Not like, it's a very big distinction, but it doesn't seem like it sometimes. We shouldn't hate the person for doing something wrong, unless they're like actually a bad person, which is another thing entirely. But hating a person precludes the ability to help them or to make them understand, because then you're not going to deal with them in the same way that you deal with someone who you think is just simply wrong. If you deal with someone that you think is evil, you're not even going to try to like do anything to change them. You're just going to oppose them. And that's a breakdown of community. And once the community starts breaking down, then you're left by yourself. And that's bad. Being callous to other people's needs, refusing to lend money to those in need, either personal or business, attempting to deny something that was rightly due to another person. And there's a lot more, but there's just a lot of things to think about. And again, I'm talking to myself here. There's a lot of things to think about. A few of those things kind of stand out on, like, if I want to make like sins of the internet, one is just there's a lot of jealousy and envy that goes around. People looking at other people's art or videos or just general success on Twitch or something, and saying like, how come that's not me? They don't deserve that. And instead of saying like, cool, I'm really happy that their work is going towards something productive. My general attitude is like, oh cool, I want to see like how I can be part of that, since obviously this person is doing something better than me. Either I want to try to learn from them, or maybe I can become part of their effort or something, like find a way to make a growth out of that, as opposed to seeing it as a subtraction from your own self. Internet really likes to talk about people behind their backs, and you just gotta not engage with that. Like, maybe sometimes that's gonna make people think that you're not, a pal or part of a group, but do you really want to be in a group where all you do is badmouth other people? I don't know. And if you are part of a group and you like that group of people, you could just try to, subtly change it from within. Try to hint, hey, let's steer away from this. There's better ways for us to be friends than by putting other people down. So these are the things that I spent the whole day thinking about for myself, because there's always room for improvement for everybody, and there's a lot that we just don't do correctly for ourselves, and I want to try to be a better person, and just try to, even if I don't have an influence beyond a very small circle, that circle is something that I influence, which means that I will be that even if it's for one person or two people or something, I'm going to be the person that they look to say, oh, well, he does this, so that means I can do it too. So, it's probably a good idea to do good things so that people don't look at you and say, oh, yeah, that person is acting like a arrogant jerk, so I guess I can do that too. And then it makes a cascade, and then it comes back to you, and you're like, how did this happen? And it's because you're a jerk, Dovey. So yeah, stuff to think about. You have a very big influence on the people around you with the things you do and the things you say. And it's always, you just gotta remember that. You gotta remember that, Dovey. And back to the first point, sometimes you just gotta let go. And doesn't mean cut things off. That's not letting go. Letting go of your, what you got inside, as opposed to what everyone else is doing to you. You can't start working on yourself until you get rid of that outer layer of built up hate and grudges and everything. And sometimes you just gotta take a day, like Yom Kippur, just take a day and be like, okay. But anyway, so that's just me rambling to myself. Again, if you want to get a lesson out of this, that's great. But these are the things that I've been thinking about and how I want to change my life. And as we get into fall and winter, it gives us an opportunity to, since we're not going to be going outside too much, it gives us an opportunity to focus inside. And hopefully this coming year will be good for all of us. Hopefully, we'll find that harmony that we need. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been Several to 4 with the weekly update. See you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.